the room. Mm. 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 It's waiting for some people to come in the room. Hey, Hip Hop. I love your energy too. I'm just waiting on a couple more people in the room. Mm. Mm. So, as we look over everything that is happening around the world and the things that Trump has done, he is fighting the Illuminati. He put a boomerang in Agenda 2030 where you will own nothing and be happy. You had BlackRock and all of these big, huge corporations that were doing nothing but buying out housing all across America. And the goal of Agenda 2030 is to take your house and turn you into renters and start those 15-minute smart cities where you won't need a car. Everything you can do is in 15 minutes as far as going to the grocery store, going to work. You can walk and bike and all of these things. Well, he signed an executive order that ended the fact that BlackRock and all of these corporations could no longer buy up all the residential property so that young people will be able to buy a house. That was a boomerang in the Illuminati's plan. Then he signed another executive order a week or two ago that there will be no more scamdemics. He's not funding the CDC, the NIH, and a couple of more programs because they were supposed to release a deadly virus like they did in 2020, well, 2019, with the lockdown and all that, which we found was, which I knew it was man-made, just like AIDS is a man-made disease. In the Wuhan lab in China, he just put a boomerang on that. He stopped that shit. Let me see what else I could think of on hand that he has done. The Federal Reserve. Him fighting with the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is not a government agency. The Federal Reserve was started by Rothschilds, funded by Rothschilds to control the money supply. The IRS was funded and started by Rothschilds. So when you pay them, you actually paying the interest on the debt of the $36 trillion, well now $39 trillion of the United States debt. Neither of those is not. So the IRS is just a collection agency of the Illuminati, pretty much. So him changing, getting Jerome Powell out of there and putting in his own, this other guy, which he's elitist as well. He going head up with them as far as that's concerned. Let me see, what else did he do? Won Greenland. He took us out of the UN. He took us out of NATO. I don't know who the fuck Miranda is. I really don't. Zoe, I don't know where that shit came from. I don't know. He got us out of NATO. He got us out the Green New scam deal. That bullshit. That climate change bullshit. Because the earth is not getting colder. It's getting hotter. So he has really wrestled what he said at his speech at Davos. He's against migration, all of that to destroy their country. Listen, he done put a boomerang in, and he does have a target on his back. So we just gonna go. I'm just gonna go into the video part because this won't be a long video. This is Trump versus the Illuminati, and this is what he's doing.
So Trump just pulled the U.S. out of 66 international organizations that don't benefit America. Most likely, they are not going to be able to function without our tax dollars, because it turns out, if you didn't already know it, we're apparently the welfare provider for the world. And with all those welfare dollars, we're not making it any better, unfortunately. This includes 31 different UN entities that we're now going to be
Money Loc, I got to ask you some questions.
The UN is an organization that takes some of the most corrupt leaders in corrupt nations all around the world and elevates them while giving them U.S. taxpayer dollars that are used to further entrench their power and further enslave their citizens, while taking away all incentives to better their country and increase stability for those who are stuck living there.
Facts.
These leaders always receive their health care in the developed West. They buy real estate in our countries, and many of them spend the majority of their time living in the developed West, either in Europe or the US, while ruling over a subjugated and abused class of people back at home. Nothing about that feels noble to me. I just want to know how many more we still need to withdraw from. So Trump just pulled the U.S. out of 60.
He put a notch, because when he pulled us out of that and pulled the funding, when he stopped the scam, damn it, man, this man is doing the damn thing. Money Loc, you still in here? I got to ask you a question. Was you at, I'm changing the subject, y'all, since Money Loc is here for a minute. Was you at the, Nipsey Hussle dedication? So can I ask you, because I'm on my phone. Damn, I wish I could bring you. I don't think I can bring you up on the. Oh, I would have to be on StreamYard. But are you in fear? Are you in fear for Black Sam, because he had a total meltdown there? I mean, was it that bad where he was ready to squabble up? I'm not concerned about the Marathon Burger because that happened across the street, down the street, and they made it seem like it happened at Marathon Burger in Long Beach. No, it didn't. These people don't have their information right. And I know he was very emotional because he had tears while he was, speaking about his brother and the dedication. So he was already in his emotions. Yeah, it's a lot of videos floating around. But at the end where I guess he was ready to squabble. He's like, no, we're going to squabble right here. And they was telling his dad to go get his son. And then he told his dad to go in the building or whatever. Yeah. Was that 60 business? Is that what they were saying? It was 60s business? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so he was, because I didn't understand, was he about to fight the 60s? Because I know he had non-affiliate. Or was he trying to stop everything? Because, he seemed pissed. That's all I'm saying. If you could say anything. If not, I understand. And I wish I was on StreamYard so you could come up. Okay. All right. I'm glad to see you, Money Low. I gotta go check out your Trump. Okay, now we getting back on task. Trump versus Illuminati. Let me see how long this video is.
Several of Trump's cabinet members are already in Davos this morning, making the president's message pretty clear. Over the past couple of days, they've reinforced America's positions on energy, trade, and security priorities to European leaders.
We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum, and the Trump administration
and if you don't know what Davos is, the World Economic Forum, subset of the Illuminati, subset of the United Nations. They just as powerful, but they remove the Klaus guy. He's no longer over it because he wasn't able to put their agenda forward.
We are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind.
Let's go back to this live picture.
Boom.
For years, critics have slammed the annual meeting as a gathering of elites pushing to expand left-wing ideology, controversial climate policy, and globalism ahead of Trump's arrival in Davos. A report by Politico stated the fear had been that Davos might be slipping into irrelevance in these fin-de-siècle times or end-of-century times amid a retreat from globalization and multilateralism. No more. U.S. President Donald Trump may be at odds with the rules-based, consensus-led global leadership that they owe him thanks this time. A record number of world leaders are attending only because he is.
Boom. He set Agenda 2030 back. Gone, Trump. That's all I got to say. I'm doing the short videos. Let me see. Oh, no, we won't do that. I'm going to play this another time. No, we won't do that one. Check this one out.
Are built for people. not for corporations, and America will not become a nation of renters. We're not going to do that. That's why I have signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. It's just not fair to the public. They're not able to buy a house. And I'm calling on Congress to pass that ban into permanent law, and I think they will. One of the biggest barriers to saving for a down payment has been surging credit card debt. The profit margin for credit card companies now exceeds 50%, one of the biggest. And they charge Americans interest rates of 28%, 30%, 31%, 32%. Whatever happened to usury? So to help our citizens recover from the Biden disaster, all caused by this horrible precedent, I'm asking Congress to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year. And this will help millions of Americans save. Homes are built for people, not for corporations.
Now, when he stopped and signed that executive order that BlackRock, like I said in the beginning, could not buy up all the houses around the country, that put a halt in Agenda 2030, which slogan is "You will own nothing but be happy. You'll be a damn happy slave, but you won't own a house." This is what I'm saying. Yeah, people just need to wake up. If you can get out your damn feelings and just listen to what the fuck the man doing. He done shook up the whole damn thing. Maduro, the oil that Venezuela was supplying to Russia and Cuba, the communist, socialist country, boomeranging their agenda. Now Iran, but the people are happy. Boomerang. Okay, let's go to another one.
Trump takes the podium in Davos, Switzerland, and the world as we know it will never be the same. The old world order was one of free trade, open oceans, and reliance on strangers. But the new world order is fortresses of supply chain sovereignty, where the U.S. eliminates foreign choke points by walling off its economy and demanding that every critical resource is American-owned, French-shored, and defended by naval steel. First, he will assert his seriousness in acquiring Greenland, framing it as essential for national security and countering rivals like China. He'll drop vague threats, you'll find out, while explicitly defending the 10% tariffs on the Greenland aid as a necessary negotiating fee. But let's really break it down. This isn't about buying an island. It's about buying the GI-UK gap, the only strategic naval choke point capable of bottling up the Russian Northern Fleet before they reach the Atlantic. And economically, it's a hostile takeover of the world's largest undeveloped rare earth deposit, instantly breaking China's monopoly on the raw materials that power every F-35, iPhone, and EV battery in the Western Hemisphere. Trump takes the podium in Davos, Switzerland, and the world as
I'm
we know
telling you, y'all just need to shit. And I'm only playing short clips because I got to get up and go to work in the morning. But I'm going to play a long one when I do this again.
It's their entire globalist system. And that is what Trump was actually telling the New York Times. And that is exactly what he's going to tell the gathered so-called international elite at Davos. He's crippled their dirty money laundromat in the Caribbean with the Venezuelan operation. He's declared war on the economic cartels, and he's withdrawn from 66 international organizations that are used to enforce globalist policies. Now, you're not supposed to notice any of that. You're supposed to be caught up in the play-by-play of the Minnesota ICE shootings, while the Democratic foot soldiers and the controlled media try to spin up their irregular warfare operations here at home. Well, Trump and his team aren't going to let them get away with that. It's their entire globalist system. And that is what Trump was actually telling the New York Times. And that is exactly what he's going to tell the gathered so-called international elite at Davos. He's crippled their dirty money laundromat in the Caribbean with the Venezuelan operation.
Boom. And that man has a target on his back. He has even left instructions if something happened to him. He got a big target on his back because he's crippling their ass. Boom, here go another one.
media and influencers on all sides.
Let me just say this. This is, they on YouTube, and I'm so glad this lady is Prometheus. Damn, let me see. If you put in Prometheus, you can find her channel. They own the shit. Every time they video come up, I'm like, damn, because they be on it. But let's get to this one. Oh, shit.
Yahoo, the real enemy, just admitted that Donald Trump has them on the ropes. Just days after Donald Trump released his national security strategy in early December, the British House of Lords convened a session in London to discuss how to stop Trump and his new strategy. And one of them was caught on record telling his peers to ignore the president because, as he said,
I was in Washington, D.C. last week with other members of the NATO Parliamentary Assembly, and when the national security strategy was discussed with our fellow elected members in the US, their message was clear that NSSs come and go. Sometimes they're implemented and sometimes they don't, but we should judge by what Congress passes. And the National Defence Appropriation Act last week delivered an extra £8 billion to European defence and put a floor of some 76,000 troops, US troops in Europe.
the translation of that? The national security strategy is a mortal threat to the British Empire, and we're going to activate all of our networks in the United States to try and stop it. They're saying this because they're terrified. But if you listen to the noise in Washington and in social media, you'd think Trump was the one losing control.
Right.
Because in the last few days after the president met with Zelensky and Netanyahu, the political world has exploded. Now, if you listen to Mike Pompeo and the neocons, Trump sold out to Putin. If you listen to the anti-war crowd, he sold out to Zelensky. If you follow the MAGA wars or Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're being told he surrendered to Israel, or can we just do America? They're all wrong. What you just witnessed wasn't a sellout, it was a takeover. It was the first live fire test of the very strategy the British are trying to kill. Trump hasn't surrendered. He signed the Do Not Resuscitate order for the British post-war world. And that's why they're not celebrating in London or Brussels tonight. They realize the special relationship, their ability to manipulate American power for their wars, is over, as long as Donald Trump is calling the shots. I'm Susan Kokinda. I became politically active way back in 1968, campaigning for Robert F. Kennedy Sr. in California when he was assassinated. For decades, my colleagues at Promethean Action and I have been in the real fight. So take it from a political veteran. If enough of you understand what Trump is doing, we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our independence in 2026 by finishing the job. So if that sounds like your kind of fight, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons so we can expand our reach. Today, I'm going to look at how the new national security strategy is in action with Trump's meetings with Zelensky and Netanyahu. How the British are directly deployed to stop the national security strategy, and how Trump's economic revolution led by tariffs is the final blow to the British system.
Listen.
Now, if you're living in the world of binary choices, pro-Israel versus pro-Palestinian, free world versus Putin and the other autocrats, you're missing the tectonic shifts taking place. So you have Mike Pompeo screaming that Trump sold out to Putin. You have a part of the MAGA movement declaring that Trump sold out to Netanyahu.
Listen, he taking them down.
And they're all wrong.
You got to subscribe. It's Prometheus. What she say? Action. They on YouTube. They on Instagram. She is the truth. He taking them down. Don't nobody appreciate this man because they don't see. They only looking at the fake news, all that bullshit, and they don't see the plan. Oh, damn. Now look, this next one. Did Trump just sue the New World Order?
Hello to all 400,000 of you amazing subscribers. Thank you so
Now
much.
he's
for
a
subscribing to the
prophet,
channel.
but
As promised, every day I've decided I'm going to try my best to go live as best I can. I'm going to fail upwards and do live updates with you. And this series is all things prophetic and money. Let's begin with something comforting. Nothing is wrong. Everything is absolutely fine. Prices are rising. Wages are thinking about it. Debt is historic. Governments are calm, and central bankers speak in the soothing tone of people who've just misplaced your wallet and would like.
and if you know anything, central bankers, Illuminati. Bank of America gonna fall, Illuminati Bank. Chase, Rockefellers, Illuminati. Falling, they gonna fall.
Not to notice, perfectly normal. Empires always sound like this just before they say, remain calm. Now, you may have noticed, and by noticed, I mean accidentally scrolled past while looking for a cat video to restore your faith in humanity, or at least your mental health, that Donald Trump is suing the Federal Reserve, which is fascinating. Where should prophetic people be placed in this? Not because it's Trump. Trump sues people the way some people, I guess, drink water. It's hydration for him. What's fascinating is who is he suing? Not Congress, not the media, not Twitter, which frankly have been...
I'm not sure if they have Turkish versions. I mean, this guy's African, but he be on point too. I'm not sure if they have Turkish versions. I don't know. I'm sure you can translate it to a Turkish language, but I don't know how to do that.
Corruption. He's suing the Federal Reserve, which immediately causes Christians to experience a mild internal shutdown.
Now, how can he sue the Federal Reserve? Federal Reserve was started by the Rothschilds. It is not a government agency. The Rothschilds control the money supply, the head of the Illuminati, the top 13 families. They control, there's a Rothschild bank in just about in every country other than, it wasn't one in Iceland. It wasn't one in Iran. It's only a few, 2 or 3 countries where there's no Rothschild-owned bank. And he's suing them. Why? Because it's not a government agency. It's independent. It is ran by the Illuminati.
Oh dear.
Look, he's taking it down.
Is this still church adjacent? Which is marvelous because Rome relied on the exact same sensation. If the people feel vaguely guilty thinking about money, the money can do whatever it likes. Let's talk about debt. Okay, the United States is currently in $34 trillion in debt. That's the kind of number your 5-year-old tries to count to on their way to infinity.
Well, we more than that now.
Number meant anything. Politicians would speak about it with fear, but it doesn't. It's too big. It's designed to be too big. Trillion isn't even a number. It's a shrug. So let me translate that. If you paid off America's debt at $1 million a day, every day, no weekends, no brunch, no mental health days, it would take 93,000 years to pay it off, which is interesting because recorded human civilization has only been going on for about 6,000 of those years, meaning this debt is not meant to be repaid. It's meant to be managed, which is economists' code for we'll keep rearranging the cushions until the house collapses politely. The UK, meanwhile, where I come from, is at $2.6 trillion in debt, which we handle with our usual strategy, understatement. Japan is 260% of GDP, which in economic language means this should not exist, but here we are smiling bravely. France, Italy, Spain, all in debt, all shocked that life is expensive, all blaming different people while trusting.
And all of this debt is to the Illuminati. Damn. That's what all this debt is. Because they loan countries money. And then when you can't pay it back, then they take control. That's why they go into Africa all the time and give them all this money. And then they end up running the country. It's called economic hitmen. It is the bankers, the international bankers. These some evil ass people.
The same system as we all are waking up in and trusting. Now here's the question nobody asks out loud. How are these debts sustained? And here's the answer. Magic. Very, very official magic. But still magic. No more magic than the Babalawos of Nigeria enter the Federal Reserve. The name alone is doing very heavy lifting because it's neither federal nor is it a reserve. And the third thing is you cannot fire it. Like a bad Tinder date, it has become the global catfish of our economy. It was created in 1913, which is coincidentally also the same time in...
Now he right, because Woodrow Wilson in 1913 was president. He was a 33rd degree Mason, and they had a meeting at Jekyll Island. You can Google this. You can read the book because it's a book called Jekyll Island. Anyway, they had a meeting. Oh, shit. I done messed up my damn thing where I was. But anyway, so there was a meeting at Jekyll Island. Boom. Federal Reserve came into existence. IRS came into existence. All of that. Hold on. I'm about to go back to it. Hold on, because I hit the wrong damn button. Hold on.
Hello.
Let me get back. This is... Did Trump just sue the New World Order? And see, that's why Trump is going head up with the Federal Reserve. He wants Jerome Powell out of it, and he wants to put his own man in there. Remember, he kept telling Jerome, cut the damn interest rates. Cut the interest rates. He even went over there and he had a meeting. I know I showed that video with Jerome Powell where he told him he was stupid, an idiot. He going head up with these people.
Tries to count to on their way to infinity. Now that number is meant to be managed, which is economists' code for all blaming different people while trusting the same system as we all are waking up in and trusting. Now here's the question nobody asks out loud. How are these debts sustained? And here's the answer. Magic. Very, very official magic. But still magic. No more magic than the Babalawos of Nigeria enter the Federal Reserve. The name alone is doing very heavy lifting because it's neither federal nor is it a reserve. And the third thing is you cannot fire it. Like a bad Tinder date, it has become the global catfish of our economy. It was created in 1913, which is coincidentally also the same time income tax became permanent.
Didn't I just tell you? I know what I'm talking about.
Anything. The Federal Reserve doesn't print money like a cartoon villain. It creates money through debt. Every dollar is born owing interest, which is extraordinary when you think about it. Imagine if every newborn arrives with a credit score, which means the system doesn't need to succeed. It simply needs to expand. And when expansion slows, inflation appears like a polite poltergeist and gently eats your savings whilst apologizing to you at the same time. Or blaming that inflation on endless wars in Ukraine, we should all be concerned about.
Right. Well, that's true. And it also comes from printing too much money, having many dollars in circulation creates inflation. And that's done on purpose.
That's it. Inflation is theft with manners. No shouting, no sirens, just prices creeping up while wages pretend not to notice. You don't revolt, you adjust. You don't ask who did this. You assume adulthood has suddenly become harder for no reason. And Rome loved this. Rome discovered something vital. If you debase the currency slowly enough, people don't panic. They simply adapt. They find a way to blame themselves. They work harder for less and call it character. They get in debt and they call it adulthood. Rome called it bread and circuses. We call it the cost of living. Now, Trump suing the Fed isn't about interest rates. It's ultimately about who decides reality. And I just want to give prophetic people an understanding, a good education. Jerome Powell doesn't need to arrest you. He just needs to move a decimal point. And suddenly, your mortgage sighs heavily, your savings sulk, and your future suddenly feels postponed. That's power, quiet power.
Facts.
That's Roman power. Jesus didn't shout at Rome. He simply asked a question. Whose image is on the coin? Which is such a devastating question, it still hasn't recovered. Caesar's image is on the coin. God's image is on you and I. Translation, give Caesar his toys, but don't give him your trust. And here's the irony that Rome hated. While Rome was turning silver into metallic gossip, the temple required silver by weight. No inflation, no tricks, no confidence games. And you can find this actually in my previous video. Rome could declare devalue. The temple could only measure it. And Rome knew exactly what that meant. Parallel trust systems are dangerous. So they destroyed the temple and took the temple silver. Problem solved. Now, if you're laughing slightly and feeling faintly uncomfortable, that's good, because this isn't funny, it's familiar. Inflation teaches us to spend now, save nervously, accept debt as maturity. Feel clever for surviving systems we never question. And we nod sagely and say, well, that's just how it is, which is precisely how mammon works, quietly, reasonably, convincingly. Jesus didn't say you couldn't use money. He simply said you couldn't serve it, because ignorance is expensive, and faith without understanding doesn't make you holy. It simply makes you manageable. And I'll leave you with that. Think about it, pray about it. Let me know your thoughts in the
Boom. See, and this is why he is so hated. But the people, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you can see what the hell is going on.
So yesterday was a huge historic day, probably one of the biggest days that we've ever seen when it comes to the United Nations, it comes to the World Economic Forum. They just got laid the law. Like, if you guys watched my shows, obviously I have went over all this. Yesterday they got told, listen, the people don't trust you anymore. Your old SWIFT fiat banking system's done, and we're going to upgrade everything with AI, and obviously we need that to incorporate the new energy infrastructure that we're bringing to America, and many other things with quantum computing and a financial system that's going to be ran on a very fast computing system. And then, you know, guys, it was incredible to watch Trump walk into the lion's den and destroy them. But hold on. So while he was there, he signed the Board of Peace. The Board of Peace deal with 20 different countries backing him. Do you guys think the World Economic Forum, the New World Order, has a chance against 20 countries coming together in unity and love and peace? Not only that, guess who's in it? So not only is Putin a part of this, he accepted it. He donated $1 billion to the Board of Peace. And he said, I am willing to rebuild Ukraine if they just work out a peace deal. This is the guy that you were taught to Kremlin. This is the guy that we were taught to hate. Isn't that funny how that works? Kind of reminds me of Trump, you know, when he first came in. See, the central banking cartel, the elites, there's only a few left. Look at the UK, look at the EU. Be thankful you're not over there. But this is incredible, because I believe the Peace Board is going to take over the United Nations. And you're going to see Greenland. By the way, Greenland is already ours. Greenland just got taken by the cabal and became a slave to Denmark, and now their people won out. They love Trump, and it's all going to come together. You got Carney in Canada, who's completely a loose cannon with the New World Order, and Trump's telling everybody, hey, it's going to be Canada, Greenland, Alaska. It's going to be one nation in the West, and we're going to be sovereign with Putin and everybody up there. And then, do you see it all coming together? It's obvious. And then the financial system, that's all connected on satellites globally. It's not just one currency here, one currency there anymore. It's one currency. It's not a world currency. It's a digital currency that's DeFi, which is decentralized finance, and it's available everywhere. And then you have the energy grid that's changing. By the way, your communications right now, they're underneath the ocean floor. Why? Why are cables under the floor? By the way, they got told yesterday that their solar and all their green new scam deal, that ain't going to work. We're done with solar. We're done with windmills. We're going back to drill, baby, drill. We're going back to minerals. We're going back to trade deals. We're going back to the ERS, the tariffs, the things that work, so we don't have to make slaves out of the American people anymore. That's what's happened. And I tell you what, they won't go down without a fight. Ghislaine Maxwell, February.
And they
9th.
not going down without a fight. If people just open up their eyes and just see what the fuck is going on. Well, what he was talking about, Trump pulled us out of 66 organizations. NATO, United Nations. He not funding. He not giving them no money. He's not doing anything of that. He said he even signed a couple of weeks ago there would be no more scamdemics like what happened in 2019 where the world was shut down. He said he is not funding the CDC, the National Institute of Health. He's not the World Health Organization, which is funded and started by the Rothschilds. The World Health Organization is Illuminati. He not doing none of that. Signed an executive order, so pretty much that's what he's saying. He has put a boomerang in their ass. He has given us more time, and he has a big target on his back. Because just like he said, they not going down without a fight. Every president that has been unalive has went up against the Illuminati. Abraham Lincoln, when he created the greenbacks to stop using their currency. Boom. JFK came out with the Federal Reserve note that he wanted to use in order to get back control of our money. Bang. I pray for Trump all the time. I really do. All right, here we go.
Well, I think you should start at a much higher level. Okay? We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is a different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind? Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery?
Come on.
They don't make a battery.
Come on.
So they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries. Well, I think
Damn.
started much.
Damn.
It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. Let's see, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them.
Come on.
And not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world.
That's right.
Trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime.
Come on.
And deplete our social safety net.
Come on.
Destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious
Look
trouble.
at their faces.
They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, They're doing just absolutely nothing about it. I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed, so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law. But you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. I'm the president of the United States, but I worry about Europe. I love Europe. I love the people of Europe. And I hate to see it being devastated by energy and
Look at their faces.
immigration.
Look at them.
This double-tailed monster destroys everything in its wake, and they cannot let that happen any longer. You're doing it because you want to be nice. You want to be politically correct, and you're destroying your heritage. They must take control strongly and immediately of the unmitigated immigration disaster and the fake energy catastrophe before it's too late.
Boom. Put a boomerang in the Illuminati. Man. Woo. And I'm only playing the short stuff. I got a long one, I ain't playing that. Come on, Trump.
Trump is the commander-in-chief. It's undoubtedly the case. And he has pulled together all the military under the U.S. Space Force. All members of the U.S. Space Force are called guardians, no matter if you're a chief, master sergeant, sergeant, or a cadet or a soldier, an officer. They are called guardians for a reason.
We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us now. They're going to switch over to paper ballots. It's all watermarked now. It's really incredible stuff what you can do with paper. Paper is actually high tech.
Watermark ballots in over 12 states have been part of a huge Trump and military white hat sting operation. And Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators, elected officials, bureaucrats, social media censorship mongers, fake stream media reporters, etc., are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over coming days, and will be living in barges off Gitmo to face military tribunals for it.
Please allow me to say how proud I am of the almost 25,000 National Guardsmen who have come in from all 50 states and territories to help support the Secret Service and the police departments with a peaceful transition to military power.
In my first term, I disrupted all of it. Oh, did I disrupt? That was called major disruption. And in my second term, which we're sort of having now, but I don't want the results. Under the normal rules, I'll be out in 2024.
We are now in the phase, in my view.
Zoran, he gonna destroy New York as he already had. They had shit. After the first snowstorm, garbage was piled up to heaven. Cars snowed in, couldn't move. He gonna destroy New York, which is the plan. That's the plan. And that's exactly what he gonna do. But I don't think he gonna make his full term. I really don't. I really don't think he's gonna make the full term. I think something gonna happen to him. He's a con artist. He's an actor. He never even had a job before. The fuck, he's privileged. He never even had a real job, and he managed mayor of the largest city financial cap. Corporations are leaving. Now he want to raise property taxes in New York. And who can afford that? So now black and brown people going to lose their homes. New York is expensive as hell. Because that's the only thing he can raise, because he realized he don't have the power to tax the rich. And he can't give you free bus, all that free shit he promised. Ain't nothing free. And they fell for the bullshit for free stuff that he can't even do because it's under the governor. And she said no. Okay, I think I'm going to end with this one. I'm going to end with it. Wait, I might want to play this. Okay, I'm going to end with this one.
I told you that Donald Trump's biggest enemies are not the Obama, Clinton, Biden networks, whose heads are on the line in the Russiagate revelations, or even the deep state, but it's the European monarchies who have never stopped their war against the American Republic. Most people think that this is just politics. Republicans versus Democrats, or maybe America versus the globalists. You see the daily battles over Ukraine funding, Fed policy, or the environmental regulations as separate issues. Even Trump supporters often miss the big picture, focusing on individual bad actors or policy disputes. But what we're fighting is a system, properly named the Anglo-Dutch system.
Come
and what
on.
we're witnessing is unprecedented. An American president waging direct war against the very Anglo-Dutch system that we fought the American Revolution against. Trump isn't just fighting globalists. He's taking on the European monarchy and oligarchy, led by the British monarchy and its Dutch and European partners. This is what's been bleeding America dry through its central banking system, its environmental death cult, and its endless imperial wars. I'm Susan Kokinda, and I've been tracking this imperial system for over 5 decades. I've documented how these same royal families created the Federal Reserve, launched the environmental movement, and started every major war. Tomorrow, Barbara Boyd and I will be doing our second live Q&A to break down exactly how these imperial oligarchies operate. Sign up for our free newsletter at Promethean Action to get the details. But today, I'm exposing 3 fronts in Trump's war against the European oligarchies. First, how King Charles and the Dutch are desperately keeping Ukraine burning. Second, how Trump's economic policies are dismantling their centuries-old ideology of environmental destruction. And third, how his Fed battle strikes at the very heart of the financial empire that's ruled the United States since 1913. So why is the Ukraine war continuing when Trump has a clear mandate to end it, and he wants to end the killing? Because of the empire's stranglehold over Europe. As this is being recorded, the president's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is in Moscow, having just concluded a meeting with Russia. As forward. Preliminary reports characterize the meeting as productive. But it's hard to negotiate when there are other parties on the battlefield. So look at this. The very first European country to pony up almost $600 million in arms purchases from the United States to keep the Ukraine conflict going is the Netherlands. 600 million. That's a small country. This is the Netherlands, as in the Dutch half of the Anglo-Dutch imperial system. And the other European countries that immediately jumped in, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Notice something?
Thank you, Money Law.
You can use your favorite AI to look at the ties between these royal families and the British monarchy. This is all part of the same imperial structure that has been in a war with sovereign republics for centuries. Remember, we wouldn't be here in the first place if Britain's Boris Johnson. I told you that Donald Trump's biggest enemies are not the Obama, Clinton, Biden networks, whose heads are on the line.
I'm going to end with this. Thank you, Money Law, because I do interrupt and I do drop knowledge when it's time. But they say things much more clearly that you can understand. And this is the topic, Trump versus Illuminati. It ain't nothing to be chatting about. This is real shit. We in the midst of this, but I'm going to end with this video right here.
I'm calling all the sincere and all the truthful believers around the world to pray with me for President Trump. People around the world who don't know each other have received the exact same message, that there is a plot to kill President Trump.
It is.
Now, we all know that. We know that his enemies want to destroy him, but listen carefully. When people, thousands or even tens of thousands of miles apart, who don't know each other, who are not connected on the internet or social media, who are completely separate from one another, are receiving the exact same warning
Facts.
at the exact same time
Facts.
about the exact same person, then you know that God is speaking.
That's a fact.
He is warning us and he's calling us to rise up in powerful prayer for President Trump.
Yes.
We can be fools and idiots who ignore this and just keep scrolling, and or we can be true warriors who hear the call from on high and who realize we are indeed in a war. And what President Trump is doing is completely abolishing the agenda, the structures, the plans, the networks of the satanic elites worldwide.
Facts.
He is their greatest threat at this moment. So guys, please forward this video. I'm going to pray here, and I'm going to ask you to pray with me. If you're not used to this, that's fine. But we need to stop being fools who ignore the important warnings and open our eyes. I am right now with my family. I am packing to move to California because God is calling us there. I'm dropping everything because I've been hearing these messages from several people, and just now I read from yet somebody else in Florida who said God gave me an extremely alarming dream, and she told me what it is about. I'm like, this is very serious, this is very real, so I'm dropping everything to make this video. That's why I have none of my lights on. I'm in my working clothes, but I want to pray, and I want to call you to pray with me. So, Father, I just ask you that you would pour out your fire upon the enemies of justice,
Yes.
the enemies of truth,
Yes.
the enemies of humanity, the enemies of all that is good. I ask you, Father, to pour out your judgment upon the wicked in the earth who are doing everything they can to destroy your creation, to destroy your people, your children around the world, to destroy everything that brings forth life. Father, I ask you that you pour out your fire, that judgment would come upon those who are trying now to kill President Trump. I pray, Father, that you remove everything that is empowering them, that you remove everything that is enabling them, and I pray that you release your fire, that they would be consumed, Lord. Father, I pray that not President Trump would be removed from the earth. I pray, Lord, that you would send forth the angel of death to destroy those who seek to murder your children in the earth. I pray, Father, that you release your fire and your judgment to remove from this life the very people who are plotting to kill President Trump, those who murder children and sacrifice them to Satan, those who rape children, those who torture children, those who go into the deepest realms of darkness to commit acts that are not even comprehensible, that cannot even be expressed in words. Father, enough is enough. I pray that you put an end to the endless, an end to the indescribable evil that has been going on in this world, and that President Trump is busy putting an end to the poisoning of the food, the poisoning of our minds through education,
Yes.
the lies of the media, the corruption in
Yes.
the governments, the wars, the mass slaughter. Father, there's so much evil in this world. And the wicked want to protect it. They want to continue it. They want to kill Trump because he's putting an end to all of it. So, Father, I say in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, I say no. No, President Trump, Donald J. Trump will not be assassinated. He will not be killed. He will not be removed. But the ones who are plotting against him, they will be judged by the Most High God. Father, let it be so. Father, I declare blessing over President Trump and Melania and over all their beloved ones. I declare blessing, Father, your goodness, your mercy upon them in the name of the Lord Jesus the Christ. Father, I pray that you remove the blindfolds from America.
Yes.
Where the people are still so mind controlled that they can't even see what you are doing. That they don't even understand how this nation is being liberated by you.
Yes.
How you are using an imperfect but a very passionate and pure vessel to
Yes.
execute your judgment over evil and to bring deliverance to this nation and the world. Father, I pray that you open the eyes of humanity.
Yes.
That the truth would come forth.
Yes.
Father, let your voice be heard in our heart, in our mind, in our life, in the media, and let the truth break forth as never before. Father, let your will be done with President Trump. Let all the plans of the enemy be cancelled. Let those who serve Satan, let them truly come under your full and unrestrained judgment, Father, both in America as worldwide. Let the end come to the rule of evil. Let the end come to those who serve darkness. Let the end come, Father, to those who commit crimes too incredible to describe. Let the end come, Lord, and let healing flow over all of humanity. In the name of Jesus Christ, we declare your blessing, your protection, your glory over President Trump and all his beloved ones and all the people who truly serve him. Let your will be done in America and in the world, Lord, in Jesus' name, because yours is the kingdom, and yours is the glory, and yours is all the power, Father, now and forevermore. Amen.
Amen.
Please share.
Amen. 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 Lord, open their eyes. Open their eyes, because Trump is destroying the Illuminati. And yes, I have IG. It's Agena, Agena 518. My IG again is Agena 518. Good knowledge. All right, money up, money low. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. I got to do a celebrity. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do YFN Lucci, because I have to throw a celebrity up here. Yep. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the like button. See y'all later.